Lovely Huni and Little Huni. I was unaware that they now had double Huni on the team. It makes your prediction so much more obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it's you got so much Huni on your team, and he's playing super well now, right? This is no longer the guy that was leading deaths in the season. He is a carry to be reckoned with.
And it's very interesting to hear Demonte cite three members in particular, ThinkCard, Artemis, and the addition of Cody Sun to the roster as one of the major catalysts, you know, in what has turned this team from a middling, you know, LCS team to now a semifinal.
I think something super interesting about that is that coaching staff is quite young compared to the coaching staff that you usually see in a lot of these other teams that have senior members. I mean, ThinkCard and Artemis are, you know, pretty much age-wise to be players as well. So the relationship that they can build with the team is a very different dynamic that I think allows the players to feel more at ease and play all sorts of wacky things as we've come to expect out of Clutch.
Well, not just wacky things, but still well-balanced team comps for the most part when they do it. They still have Lyra on tank duty usually. They'll still have Vulcan helping with tanks, and then they still make sure that they have good matchups when they do it. It's not the completely crazy stuff like Cody Zed. You know, like they have evolved past that point, like you were saying earlier.
I mean, that said, we do take a look at this game, and from the outset, there was very clear differences within the compositions. Clutch, more early game focus, needing to get some stuff done in the early game while looking to not get outscaled by TSM.
I mean, this is a fight that actually would have benefited Clutch had there been a little bit better mechanics out of them, especially on Lyra. If he was able to get his ultimate off before getting knocked off, it would have made a huge difference there. So I think that Clutch was really looking for the right play. And you can see that even though that misplay did happen at the tail end, they almost cleaned up TSM. And this would have just broke the game wide open.
Yeah, and we actually had a lot of mistakes coming in from the CV side where they suddenly actually ignored certain mid-ways that they didn't make the enemy show upon and then suddenly got collapsed into river. So the game was actually not looking that smoothly for them, but gladly for them, they got a team fight later on.
Right, it did very much feel like it was on the precipice of momentum going the way of TSM with these mid-game fights that went in their favor.
Yeah, when a Corky Sivir starts winning fights this early in the game, you're starting to get pretty terrified. I mean, the one thing that was in their back pocket was they had a late game insurance policy.
And look, here's the deal. We didn't promise you it would be a smooth ride to Detroit, but we did tell you that the Clutch Mobile could get you there.
It was going to be exciting too, right?
And that's what it did. It was an exciting ride, to say the least. The Clutch car has made it to Detroit. We'll see which other vehicles will follow them there. But I do want to roll through a little bit more of this fourth and final game here as we take a look at some of the fights that would come together in Clutch's favor.
Yeah, this is kind of the late game insurance policy I was alluding to. The Cody Sun Kaisa, and he called his own number in a couple of these fights. This one in particular, they kind of step forward, trying to finish off Demonte there, and he goes flying in to try and get a bunch of kills. He did this a number of times over the course of the game, so Cody Sun was not playing scared.
I mean, I really like his decision to actually flash away. I know we were criticizing it, but I think he was about to get stunned and died anyways, but he got Sofa, and I believe this is actually the
final fight.
Huni's ultimate and positioning here does so much, right? So you get Bjergsen out, he burned everybody else up, right? The Zhonya's was so good between him and Demonte. They essentially played tank duty with the hourglasses of their mages, and that's one of the big power spikes of these mages. Remember a long time ago, and it was Kennen and Vladimir that would be able to zone but not be tanky because of the stopwatches? Rumble, Silas can still do the same thing and deliver in fights.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very exciting game to watch, and I think all while knowing that TSM was a fight away, right, from turning all of the momentum of the series back into their favor by putting two back-to-back. And so for Clutch to kind of have the resilience in the mid-game, having dropped a couple skirmishes to say, actually, we can still be in control, even with this outscale message in the back of your head, with Broken Blades Vladimir starting to threaten one-shots on your carries. I think they really held it together, and that's a good look for this Clutch Gaming squad.
No, I'm happy for them. Like, the way that they played in the regular season was up and down, and especially this playoff series, they actually showed their potential. And that's the first time I actually have a huge amount of respect for Clutch, because before that, I thought they were easy to beat. They have comfort picks, but they played different AD carries, even going away from the Sivir into the Kai'Sa. and Cody was still performing. So it gives me a lot of confidence, especially in the semifinal matchup against TL, because it's all about the AD carry position at this point. So.
AD carry position, well, then it makes perfect sense that in Clutch's big win, it did include many fantastic performances that smashed expectations. And while you could make a case for multiple pros, player of the series is going to that man piloting the marksman, AD carry Cody Sun.
It's TSM's biggest achievement of the series was killing him twice in it. You know,
I know, but this guy has been near, oh my God, the last 7 or 8 games he's played here on the LCS stage have been insane.
I'm sure he does not care at all about losing that KDA for beating TSM, although it is a little bit sad that it had gone over 70 at one point. But he just really was such a standout, and it seems like his positioning, the thing that stands out to me the most is that when he sees a fight, he can quickly recognize if it's lost or not, and then immediately is out. That's what keeps his KDA so high. He doesn't just stay in there hoping that the damage is there and maybe hits a lucky crits. He doesn't play those numbers. He knows whether it's a fight that is won or lost, and that makes him so consistent.
I think that's an important distinction to make, right? The difference between a KDA player who leaves to preserve their KDA versus a player who understands which direction the fight is going.
When you got Lyra and Huni on your team, you gotta know that you can't
You gotta know if it's gonna work or not.
You can't be gambling here.
Well, Avali is standing by for an interview with our player of the series.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Cody Sun, player of the series. Congratulations on that, and congratulations on the series in general, because you were just popping off on both Sivir, Kai'Sa. So tell me a little bit about your performance and how you just managed to stay alive every single game.
Yeah, honestly, I was pretty surprised that they didn't ban my Sivir. I thought that, us as a team all thought that they would like at least ban my Sivir, and then I'll have to play something else. But they left it open for pretty much 3 games in a row, and then I was pretty comfortable on that champion, and yeah, for the last game, I said that you know, I want to switch things up. I don't want to play Sivir the whole day, so just pick me Kai'Sa and I'll carry.
Were you nervous at all going into Game 4 after the slip up in Game 3?
No, I wasn't really nervous. I think that I saw that Sven was having a lot of fun, like popping off in that game, and I thought that, you know, if he's popping off and he's playing well, then I just have to do better. So.
Well, tell me about what playing on Clutch can kind of do for you as a player in terms of growth, the synergy, and just being able to do your best.
I think the biggest thing for us is that we have a really positive team atmosphere, and everyone in our team supports each other and trusts each other. So, like when we make a play, then all of us commit, and there's no backing out. So we're really confident that we're just gonna keep going in this playoffs.
And like we talked before the interview began, it's been about a year since your last best of 5, but now you're going to Detroit and you're going into semifinals. So any jitters going into that or potentially facing Team Liquid?
No, not really. I've always been to the finals for my whole career in playoffs. And yeah, I think this time it'll be no different. Hopefully we'll be able to show like our play style and our specialty in the semifinals match.
Well, wishing you and the team the best of luck with that. Thank you, and again, congratulations on the win. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Avali. I am quite excited to see this Clutch Gaming squad move on to the semifinals, if only for exactly what has been talked about all day. The unique draft approach that they have, which doesn't seem to conform to the same rules as everyone else, tethered to the willingness, as Cody cites, for every single member to commit to a play, win or loss, you know, no matter what the probability is, and let the game, you know, play out from there.
Those are just qualities of a good team right now, especially, right? Being able to be super flexible in the draft, not being able to be read. It looks like Clutch Gaming might actually be the only team that took that lesson from Rift Rivals, in that, remember way back, the lesson that we've all came back from was you need to approach the draft in a way that it makes it a lot harder for your opponent to understand your priorities and read you like a book. I think Clutch Gaming has at least started to do that, and it's refreshing to see that it paid off with at least a top 4 finish.
Yeah, be yourself. You know, if Rumble is one of your best champions, I'm not saying like you can pretend to be someone cooler than you in real life, but in the LCS, if you're a Rumble god, play Rumble every time you can. Okay, and that's kind of what Huni has done this entire split. He has a ton more Rumble games than anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the story of today, where TSM honestly didn't have any kind of identity by comparison, right? They didn't have trust in one another. They didn't have faith in their pick ban. They kept changing it up and tried to do something out of it, but it never happened. And CGE on the other side, like the way that they obviously approach the Rumble pick, the Kiana pick, these must-ban picks put so much pressure in the pick ban and put so much pressure on the opponents to actually approach the pick ban completely different. And I think that is a huge strength for them. And I think unless those champions become suddenly weaker over the course of next week, which won't happen, I think whoever's going to face them has to really consider how to play against them.
I do think it's going to make the picking of semifinal opponents very interesting to have watched this upset here with Clutch over TSM. TL won't have an easy job, but again, this trajectory for Clutch Gaming has made all that much more cool or special by knowing where they came from. Last place team makes a couple, coaching changes, one player roster change, and boom, now you're a top 4 team in North America in summer.
It just shows how fine that line is. I mean, FlyQuest also similarly top 4 team all the way down.
Yeah.
There's so much volatility that's possible based off how well you're playing, how well you work with your team, if you know your team's identity. And I think they exemplified that in the positive end of how much you can climb just with hard work.
And with that, Clutch is heading to Detroit, but they wait to see who their semifinal opponent will be until after the conclusion of tomorrow's series. We will see if Team Liquid selects the surging number 5 seed or the winning team from tomorrow's series, Optic Gaming versus Counter Logic Gaming. I want to stop down here and talk about that series that we have coming up tomorrow. Counter Logic Gaming barely missed out on that first round bye against Cloud9. Now they go up against Optic, our 6th and final playoff team, but one that we have had kind of a tumultuous relationship with. They're all split, trying to nail down how good they really are.
Today was really decided a lot by the momentum that both teams had from the spring split. Regular season where Clutch had great and TSM did not
so great.
But I think that both Clutch and Optic just were having some momentum and then just hit a complete standstill for both these teams.
CLG and Optic.
Yeah, sorry, CLG and Optic. Because CLG was really bummed out, missing out on that bye. I mean, you guys were responsible for that.
Did something.
And Optic just barely scraped by, even though they had been a top team all season long.
What is your impression of this matchup, having played against both of these teams? 3 seed, 6 seed, is it really that much of a discrepancy, or?
I think in this case it is. I think Optic, they do have great mid-jungler synergy, and I think that's something that CLG can't quite match, but I do think that the fundamentals are just better for CLG. Everything they do is just cohesive. They know how to catch people on side lane, and it's really easy for them to play the game. You see game flow. Whereas Optic, at some point, they just air them and basically have that be their meta, their playstyle, whatever it is. And I think a team like CLG, who's able to prepare so well as they have been throughout the split, I think Optic will not beat them.
So then how did you guys beat them then? Because you guys you were in a must-win situation against that team, and you actually pulled it off.
We just, I played Sejuani, so that increased our win rate by like 75%.
All right, pick Sejuani.
So TSM would have been a good matchup against CLG.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
I don't think they would have gotten the Sejuani 3 games in a row.
Okay, fair enough. Mark, what's your impression of that matchup? We talked today about kind of the snubs, the first snubs for All-Pro. Meteos, Crown barely missing out in both the jungle mid position and very much being the engine of that Optic squad.
I was surprised when Crumb started talking about momentum that he said they ended the same note. Optic at least 2-0'd through that gauntlet.
The tiebreaker.
Oh, that sucks, though. You had to go to the gauntlet.
They were close. They played close for a CLG. CLG went 0-2.
And it was the first time they made it into the postseason. So that, that is a step up for the org.
It's not just 1 week, right? 2 weeks ago, they dropped the ball with the Aatrox priority. They lost games against Echo Fox that they shouldn't have lost. They were almost beating Team Liquid and should have won that. So they lost a lot recently. It wasn't just that last week.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Well, I will wait until tomorrow to get your predictions, but I am very excited for the next series to come here in the quarterfinals. If that match has you wanting more league, though, stay tuned for the LEC rebroadcast, where we saw Garen Bot, Soraka top, and a host of other big plays. What region is that? What is going on over there in the LEC? Amazing. Thank you. Oh,
you don't know the Garen versus Volibear matchup?
No, I'm not too familiar with that matchup, if I'm being honest. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Now, for myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the playoffs. Good night.
It's that time of year again. Super excited here. Clutch versus TSM once again meeting in the quarterfinals. Definitely an exciting rematch, as I know TSM was super upset they got knocked out last time they faced Clutch.
I don't know about skill. Oh, look at skill. Look, West. I don't know about GPTP, guys. I'm going. this tank, but a flash chase for Bjergsen.
Nice, good up, son.
And now into the re-engage, but they have knocked out Smoothie. 1 for 0. There's the pull for round 2 again. Dismounting Broken Blade. That's 2 kills.
Fair on
They
spawn.
both go to Cody's son.
Clutch, though, need to respect the fact that Speaker could steal this.
He can get over the wall! And he does it! Here's some Bison space. They can't kill up. Clear, though. The slows come out. The bounces, the boomerangs. Clutch Gaming game 1 of the quarterfinals. The blast code just barely gets away.
Probably the best feeling is just whenever I beat Bjergsen. I think I looked up to this guy all of my life.
Oh, they're getting roasted.
They are burning down! Look at the team fight! Check your water, buddy, in Tanner time! Where were you when Clutch started 2-0 over TSM? I'm losing it on the back line. Yeah.
Tristana, jump in.
Yeah, Tristana has jump. Here's jump. Coming. They came back. If you left, Devontae cutting away. Broken Blade gets the healing. The re-engage. Sven pops off for the Quattro.
I know that if I'm doing these, I can carry.
It's Devontae running and a pension kill. Redemption for Sven. They're gonna find the stop. They're gonna find the kill. But now the re-engage back line. Cody's son says TSM. Is Cody done?
I can go.
We go.
I can go.
Go. I'm Cody.
Cody burning down in the backline. Sven is dangerously low. And Cody's son signs the death warrant.
That is the nail in the coffin. Clutch, they're going to take down TSM and head to Detroit.
Let's go.
I'm so fucking.
Thank you, Cody.